In our last video, we walked through an average day for a teenager in 1994. Walkman, mixtapes, the whole thing. But that teenager was a kid once too. So today, let's rewind 8 years and see what it actually looked like to be a 10-year-old in 1986. You wake up before your parents do because Saturday morning cartoons don't wait for anyone. But today's a school day, so you've only got about 30 minutes of cartoon time before you have to get moving. You flip on the TV and catch the tail end of something with giant robots in it. Cartoons on a weekday morning are rare and precious, so you don't waste a second. You get dressed in whatever's clean, a t-shirt, some jeans that are probably a little too short because you grew 2 inches since your mom bought them. Nobody's taking a photo of the outfit. Nobody ever will. That's just what you wore on a random Tuesday in October. Breakfast is cereal, eaten fast, because the bus doesn't wait either. If the radio's on in the kitchen, there's a real chance you're hearing Whitney Houston's How Will I Know, which is everywhere this year. 1986 basically belongs to her. Whitney Houston had 2 #1 hits in 1986 alone, and Billboard named her the year's top pop artist, beating out Madonna, who was no small thing to beat that year. You walk to the bus stop, or you walk to school entirely, depending on how far you live. Either way, no parent is driving you personally and watching you walk through the front doors. You just go. This is considered completely normal, and nobody bats an eye. At the bus stop, the conversation is about one of 2 things: what happened on TV last night, or who has the new Transformers toy. 1986 happens to be a massive year for Transformers. There's a movie in theaters that every kid is begging to see. If you've got Optimus Prime in your backpack, you are, briefly, the most important person at the bus stop. Class is class, but here's a detail that's easy to forget. There's no computer in the room. Maybe one in the whole school, in a special room, that you get to use for 20 minutes a week if you're lucky. Everything else is paper, pencil, and a teacher writing on a chalkboard. If you get in trouble, there's no email home. The teacher might call your house that evening, which means you spend the entire school day in low-grade dread, recalculating exactly how bad the conversation at dinner is going to be. Recess is unstructured chaos in the best way. Tag, kickball, monkey bars, some kind of made-up game with rules that only the 8 kids playing understand, and that will be completely different tomorrow. Nobody's organizing this. Nobody needs to. And here's where the 80s kid experience really shows itself. You get home, you maybe grab a snack, and then you disappear. Not literally, your mom knows you're somewhere in the neighborhood, but functionally, yes. The rule is simple: be back when it's dark, or be back for dinner. There is no tracking app, no check-in text. You are, for several hours, completely unsupervised. And this is considered fine. If you're the kind of kid who's into video games, you might be racing home to the Nintendo. The NES launched nationwide just last month, and it's already taking over. It costs about $90, roughly 10 hours of work at an average wage back then. Not cheap, but if you've got one, your house is suddenly the most popular house on the street. If you don't have a Nintendo, you've got your bike, and the bike takes you everywhere. The empty lot, a friend's house, nowhere in particular. The destination barely matters. If you're the kind of kid with a slightly nerdier streak, there's a real chance you and a few friends are gathered around someone's kitchen table, playing Dungeons and Dragons. And here's the thing. Depending on whose house you're at, this might be a secret. Some parents in 1986 are deeply convinced this game is some kind of gateway to devil worship, which sounds absurd now, but at the time, it was a genuine nationwide panic, which of course only made it cooler. In 1986 alone, A local newspaper ran a story literally titled, "Game Said to Inspire Mind, Raise Satan." Meanwhile, the game's maker estimated over 3 million Americans were playing it. And if you're the one with older siblings, there's a good chance you're being dragged along to whatever they're doing, silently grateful to be included, and trying very hard not to mess it up. Dinner happens at an actual table, at an actual time, because there's no other version of staying connected with people who live in different rooms of the same house. This is just what eating dinner means. Afterward, if your homework involves a report on anything beyond what's in your textbook, you're stuck with the encyclopedia set in the living room, the one with the slightly cracked spine on the volume everyone needs for school projects, which means you're fighting your sibling for it on a weekly basis. TV again, but this time, it's the family's choice, not yours. Maybe something with a laugh track, maybe the news droning in the background while you build something with your hands and only half pay attention. And then bed. No phone to check one last time, no blue light, just the hallway light turned off, the sound of the house settling, and tomorrow waiting exactly where you left it. So, was being a kid in 1986 actually that good? In a lot of ways, yes. The freedom alone is hard to overstate. Hours of unsupervised time, a neighborhood that functioned like a second home, and a level of boredom that, weirdly, made you more creative, not less. Was it harder in other ways? Also, yes. No instant answers, no easy connection, no safety net if something actually went wrong while you were out on that bike. That same kid grew up, became the teenager we met in our last video, passing notes and calling crushes on the landline. Funny how that works. If you want to keep following this story through the decades, stick around. There's a lot more ordinary life still to come,